A low hum rippled through the air. Captain Elena Park stood on the observation deck of the Apollo Space Defense Station, her eyes fixed on the sensor display. Thousands of shimmering lights crowded the readings, an entire alien armada emerging from hyperspace just 1,000,000 miles from Earth's orbit. The station's radar screen churned with a storm of signatures, dreadnoughts larger than cities, escort cruisers in tight formation, and countless drones swarming like locusts. She clenched her jaw. This was the beginning of an invasion. Below, skywatchers on Earth had already begun to panic. Videos streamed in from every continent. Dark, iridescent warships blotting the skyline of London, Rio, and Shanghai. In Sydney, a news chopper circled the flaming remains of a freeway. In Cairo, alarms blared as jets streaked overhead. The news ticker at United Earth Defense flashed an urgent alert. Unknown fleet detected global emergency. Lieutenant Alexa Morse slammed the red console button. Instantly, alarms echoed throughout the command center and sealed the safety bunkers. Civilian evacuations began in recorded choruses. On the Apollo station, Park's voice remained calm but urgent. Prepare the batteries. Target their approaches. All stations, fire when ready. Ensign J. Patel, young but steady at the weapons console, nodded and tapped commands. Mr. Salvo launched. Impact in 72 seconds on the lead cruiser, he reported. Through the station's viewport, golden fire streaks blasted into the void as volley after volley of Earth missiles launched at the intruders. Suddenly, the lights of the station flickered and dimmed. Status, Park barked. Lieutenant Aisha Nguyen, at the communications array, shouted back over crackling alarms. It hit the reactor banks. Sparks rained from a broken panel as she hammered at a control panel. Auxiliary power to shields and life support. The core's integrity is compromised, but we can hold just a bit longer. Specialist Marcus Cole, steel-eyed and resolute by Park's side, loaded a fresh plasma cell into his rifle. All fighters to maximum readiness, Park ordered. Outside, 2 battered carriers floated behind the station. Minutes later, flight decks of the Aurora and Icarus opened. Dozens of starfighter jets screamed into space. 2 strikes on 1 cruiser, but they're swarming us, came a panicked voice over the comms. Then static as a brilliant blue beam lanched through the void, vaporizing the pilot. Meanwhile, on Earth, Lieutenant Alex Morales watched Rome's skyline turn black. Alien cruisers dove toward the city, beams of energy carving paths through the sky. Fall back to secondary line, Morales roared. Use every bit of cover. Trees, buildings, aim for their drone controllers and generators. Across Elysium City, phantom-like soldiers swept through the streets. Their armor was glossy and obsidian dark, eyes glowing cobalt, humanoid yet wholly inhuman. They advanced with mechanical precision, weapons that fired resonant energy bolts tearing concrete and steel with each shot. The streets trembled under their march. Deep breaths helped Park keep focus. She swung her arm and punched a button. Lock on their comm channels and ECM nets. Jam their targeting. She watched global feeds. London in flames. The Eiffel Tower glowing with laser fire. Mobile news units weaving through chaos. The images were harrowing, but Park's jaw remained set. All hands. We do not surrender, she announced, voice steady. As panic and adrenaline thundered through defenders worldwide, Park drew on her own resolve. She turned to her crew. Marcus Cole cupped a plasma cartridge, eyes hard. Aisha Nguyen sealed her helmet as auxiliary generators sprang to life. J. Patel's fingers flew over the station AI diagnostics. They had each other. They had Ingenuity. Park stepped forward, voice firm. Remember who we are. Today, we may be the underdogs, but we have something they don't. Our unpredictability, humanity's creativity. We will find the solutions they cannot foresee. Around her, her team straightened. Phoenix and Orion broke formation off the carriers, diving into the battle. Earth will not be defeated, Park concluded. The Apollo station convulsed under the next hit, but it held just long enough for Park to get her team into escape pods. They plummeted through atmosphere. Elena watched the station break apart in pale blue flame. She gritted her teeth at the loss but kept moving. On Earth, militaries around the world were reeling but not broken. Hidden hangars and airfields bristled with battered starfighters and retrofitted missiles, ready to aid any resistance cell. Touching down at an improvised coalition base in the Swiss Alps, Park gathered with field commanders around a holographic display. Lieutenant Morales' arm in a sling and face streaked with soot saluted. "Perimeter secured, Captain," he reported. "Skirmishes here and there, but we're holding for now." Generals from 5 continents exchanged tense nods. National flags once rivals were clustered together now under the United Earth banner. Dr. Mayachun tapped a comlog on the display. "Intercepts show the Myrmidons are paranoid about their own drones," she said. "Chenov Command, they keep asking who gave that order. It's like they're afraid of Park absorbed this with a slow breath. She turned to Air Marshal Kato Sato. "Your ship is ready, right?" she asked. Sato flexed his cybernetic arm. "Already oiled and primed. Ghost Hawk is prepped. Will fly us and tight behind their lines." He tapped a marker on the map. "Once I'm inside range of a mothership's Kamareje, you'll trigger the worm code." Jay's eyes lit up. He adjusted his headset. "Picture this. We slip through their blockade, plant a virus in their neural network, and reprogram the entire fleet's orders. We rewrite their invasion before they even know what hit them." Park gave a half smile. "It's risky. One hole in the cloak. We're cosmic dust." Morales grinned, shouldering his rifle. "Then let's make sure it's their head spinning, not ours." As twilight fell on the valley outside, Park gathered the team for final briefing. Maya tapped a hologram. "The Myrmidon's AI is built on relic protocols. If we find a back door, we'll use it." Park nodded. "That's our opening. Trigger the relay charges, jam their sensors, then vanish in the dark." She spread her hand onto the display's globe. "Humanity is counting on us," she declared. One by one, her teammates placed their hands over hers. That night, supplies were packed, coordinates plotted, and mechanics. In the quiet moments before launch, Elena Park closed her eyes and braced herself. They had lost so much, but they still had a chance to fight smart. "Tomorrow, we show them just how dangerous Earth's cunning can be," she whispered, and the team dispersed into the night with determination in their hearts. Dusk fell on the Himalayas as Captain Park and her small team embarked on Soto's stealth shuttle. The craft's matte black hull was smeared with experimental alien-derived paint scraps of enemy technology repurposed by Earth's engineers. Park's heart pounded as they strapped in. The console glowed with Earth far below, pocked with fires and clouded by smoke. "This is it," Park whispered. "All systems green." The shuttle's thrusters roared. Sato's voice crackled. "Gosklok, active. We're ghosts out here." Park keyed her come to Jay. "Make sure the code is ready," she said. "Better than ever." Jay grinned from the sensor station. "It's like putting fireworks in their pockets." The Ghost Hawk coasted into the Myrmidon dreadnought's blind spot. Star flares and distant energy pulses danced across the alien hull. "All right, Jay. Show me the magic," Park murmured. "Now," Jay whispered. A silent cascade of alien data flooded their link. In the cockpit, Sato guided them closer. Suddenly, alarms blared on the mothership's consoles. Intrusion detected. The shuttle's external sensors latched onto movement. Dark armored soldiers materialized on the hull viewport, weapons raised. "Plan B," Park shouted. Sato hit the shuttle's thruster hard. The ship bucked. Its magnetoclaw fired out, snagging one Myrmidon by the arm and yanking him into space. One down. Sato whooped. Park and Morales burst out through the airlock. The corridor beyond was bathed in emergency red light and showered with sparks. They sprinted down narrow maintenance shafts, alien glyphs glowing on the walls. The ship shuddered as systems began to fail. Somewhere inside, Jay's voice crackled. "Hack complete." Immediately, Myrmidon systems glitched. Alarms screamed as the ship's network unraveled under the virus. Park signaled Morales. They raced toward the engine core. It pulsed at the heart of the dreadnought with eerie green light. "Hit it," Park ordered. Morales jammed a magnetic clamp onto a plasma conduit and flipped the switch. A thunderous burst of blue-white energy flared as the circuit fried. "Now, Jay, now," Park barked. In an instant, the dreadnought's engine surged, then died. Park grabbed Morales, and they dove into the escape hatch. Just as the core convulsed, the crystalline reactor shattered around them in silent shards. Outside, the dreadnought buckled and imploded. Glowing fragments scattered into the void. Park exhaled in her suit and reported, "Ghost Hawk mission accomplished." Morales gave her a tired grin. Jay's relieved voice chimed in. "Flagship offline. Ghost Hawk breaking orbit. No casualties." All around them, Myrmidon warships abruptly shifted course and withdrew. Park tapped her. "Come, this is Hawk Flight," she said softly, returning to base. Humanity had turned the enemy's own systems inside out and won. 2 weeks later, Earth's coalition had absorbed Park's victory and grown emboldened. Myrmidon warships lingered at a distance, their dark silhouettes circling Mars. On one crisp dawn, their telepathic message cut through every radio channel: "Submit or perish." Park clenched her fists as the message repeated, icy calm racing through her veins. She stood on a snowy ridge in the Alps as field commanders and engineers huddled around. "They'll come for the decoy," she said, pointing to the narrow valley below. Morales, crouched to wire seismic charges, grinned behind snow goggles. "This avalanche is going to rearrange their plans and their bones," he joked. Park glanced back. "Trigger on my mark." She pressed a button on a hidden tablet. Instantly, holographic projectors beneath the ice sprang to life, beaming a ragged image of refugees fleeing through the valley. Alien sensors would recognize the human distress code. They waited, in silence. Human snipers and drones nestled behind snowy outcroppings took aim. Park's voice cut through the tension, low and sharp. "Strafe left." Drones roared overhead. Then one swooped low, firing a pulsing EMP bolt into the trees. A faint zap echoed in a distant Myrmidon cruiser. Stutidit's sensors fried. Suddenly, a distant echo, a low rumble. In the valley below, an alien transport convoy rumbled in. Park steeled herself. "Now," she yelled. Morales pressed the detonator. The mountainside groaned as a monstrous wall of snow and ice collapsed. Park shielded her face. Thunder roared. When it passed, a white tsunami of debris had engulfed the convoy. Moments later, Park led her squad down the slope amid swirling snow. "Clear those vehicles," she barked. Ski-equipped troopers fanned out. Park lobbed a grenade into a transport's hatch bumper. Door blew inward. Alien troops poured out. Howling, coordinated fire erupted. Energy beams and railgun slugs carved them down. One lone Myrmidon soldier, filthy and wounded, staggered out with weapon raised. Park brought her rifle to bear. "Drop your arms," she commanded calmly in their tongue. The alien froze, uncertainty in its glowing eyes. Nearby, Morales leveled his pulse rifle at the last survivor. It sank to its knees. Park lowered her gun. "Got them," she said quietly. Park approached the wounded scout. "Tell your commanders this. Humanity will use every trick in the book to defend our world," she said softly. The Myrmidon did not respond. As dusk fell over the camp, Park nodded at Morales. "We've done enough here. Let's head back." That night, celebration flickered in the mountain campfires. Maya grinned at a comm panel. "Our phantoms have done it. The aliens believe a fleet is in orbit now." Above, satellites tracked empty space. By morning, the announcement blazed on screens everywhere. The alien Armada was retreating beyond Mars. The human siege was broken. Park gazed at the snow-dusted peaks under a blanket of stars. Snowflakes drifted down like confetti. Morales, beside her, cracked a grin. "Humans really are unpredictable," she said softly. "Hell yeah," he laughed, raising a mug. They didn't see that coming. Weeks passed since that victory. The alien Armada was now a fading memory beyond Mars. In the glittering halls of Geneva, world leaders gathered to commend the heroes. Captain Park, still in travel-worn fatigues, found herself at a podium once more. Cameras flashed like distant lightning. She took a breath. "We started outnumbered," Park began, voice calm yet resolute. "Our enemy had more ships, more firepower, but they did not expect our cunning. We fought not just with weapons, but with creativity and will," she continued, meeting the gaze of every delegate. "Today, scientists all over Earth are deciphering the enemy's technology. Factories once building tanks now output spacecraft components and medical devices. Children are finding alien circuits inside what we once saw as simple gadgets, just as curious as any of us. Curiosity defines humanity, and nothing changes that." A wave of applause rolled through the hall. Park spotted Morales in the crowd, nodding proudly. Later, Park stepped outside. The streets had transformed. Flags from every nation fluttered triumphantly on every lamppost. Street vendors sold miniature models of the Ghost Hawk and the battle jets. On a giant screen above, news anchors replayed clips of the war. beams of light cutting through night skies, the avalanche trap in the Alps, and the ragged heroes back at the base raising fists. Pod paused as a group of schoolchildren waved tiny flags. One brave girl, in a t-shirt printed with a liberated Earth, approached shyly and held out a little notebook. "Captain Park, may I have your autograph?" she asked. Park knelt and signed it carefully. The girl's eyes sparkled. "I built a hovercraft from recycled parts," the girl told her, voice bubbling with pride. "Are you proud of me?" Park's chest warmed. "I'm very proud of you," she said, placing a hand on the girl's shoulder. All over the world, celebrations continued into the night. Fireworks stitched the sky in brilliant colors, painting hope over the dark. Park watched a display from a rooftop vantage point, a quiet smile on her lips. She saw rockets bloom overhead, no longer firing in anger, but blooming in celebration. As the last burst of fireworks faded, Park closed her eyes briefly. The world was safe again, not by brute force, but by the ingenious spirit of its people. Months later, humanity was still learning how to rebuild and advance. On what had once been open farmland sprouted a sprawling science park. Elena Park walked through New Geneva's campus and saw engineers in white coats sketching diagrams on transparent walls. Languages mingled freely: English, Mandarin, Swahili, Russian, all blending as people worked together in a unified purpose. It was as if the war had melted away old divisions. She stepped into a bright control room at the Apollo Station Research Center. Holographic displays swirled with symbols, medical data, engineering schematics, and maps of energy grids. Dr. Maya Chun greeted her with a smile. "We're integrating the alien energy conduits into our global network," Maya explained. "It's brilliant. One reactor can power an entire city now." Park nodded, watching a continent on the screen light up with glowing cities. Behind glass, technicians assembled sleek fighter drones. Each craft was a mosaic of salvaged alien circuitry and human precision. A year had passed since Earth's darkest hour. Park stood before a ceremonial plaque at the newly completed Atlantis space elevator. Its tower built with alien-derived carbon fiber. The ribbon above it bore a logo of a silver Earth wrapped in golden circuitry. Park reflected on the journey from terror to hope. Children and dignitaries were gathered below. A small boy tugged at her sleeve. "Captain Park," he whispered, "will we really go to space now?" Park smiled. "Yes," she said, "but we'll go better. We built this elevator so anyone can reach the stars." As applause started, Park turned to address the crowd. "This tower is more than steel and wire," she told them. "It represents humanity's spirit. Just like in the battle, we did not conquer by force. We conquered by thinking, by inventing, and by looking at old problems in new ways." She scanned the faces around her: scientists, engineers, families who had lived through the war. "Remember the avalanche trap in the Alps, the ghost fleets in space, the tricks we used to save lives," Park said softly. "Our victory was built on ideas. That is our legacy." A young girl at the front painted a tiny sun next to an Earth in the dirt with a stick. Park watched it shine alongside a star and a rocket. Later that night, Park returned to her quarters and gazed at the stars through her window. The elevator's silvery beam lifted a capsule into orbit above Earth. She thought of all the solutions humans had found. Malware turned on their machines. Avalanches turned into weapons. Illusions turned into victory. A single thought held steady: wherever humanity went next, our greatest tool would always be our mind. The aliens had come with lasers and warships, but Earth's answer was imagination and courage. Far below her window, the lights of Earth twinkled like distant stars. Elena Park allowed herself one final smile. Humanity's ingenuity, not violence, would light the path forward, shining ever brighter in the days to come.